Vamos continuar, né? Vamos entrar no meu escritório primeiro, depois eu vou lá
Dr. Swansea
ajudar.
is right. This place seems perfect to conduct my research.
Vamos aqui primeiro.
It's here again.
It's locked.
Olha com ele que a gente trouxe.
Good evening, Mr. Hampton. How do you feel?
Dr. Reid, is it? Oh, sir, I must apologize for my behavior.
What do you mean?
I was not myself in the factory. Fear and exhaustion made me say awful things to you, I'm afraid.
You remained perfectly nice and polite. A little delirious, perhaps. But who wouldn't be after enduring an abduction?
Thank you, Doctor. That's a relief. Now all I need to do is rest and return to my flock.
Sua vida em Londres. Você no esconderijo de William, né?
How did you end up in William Bishop's den?
I had received alarming news about his recent behavior. I went to his place and he refused to let me go.
Por que ele sequestrou você?
Why did he abduct you?
William was an alcoholic. His addiction suddenly changed to blood. I don't know why. Just like a patient I met here. This Miss Hawcroft.
Você é herói ou tolo?
You dared to enter this awful place alone. You're a hero, Mr. Hampton. Or a fool.
I'm just a man trying to help his friends, Dr. Reid. William Bishop was a conflicted soul, searching for light.
Tá. Sob Tom Watts, né? Não sei assim.
Do you know Tom Watts, the bartender from the Turtle? I met him before I found you in the canning factory.
Tom? Yes, of course. Always the helping hand, good old Tom. Without men like him, corruption and despair would have wiped out the East End long ago.
Desespero?
People are still in despair.
How could it be otherwise? The authorities have left us all to rot in this contagious nightmare. No drugs, no advice, nothing. It's a damn shame.
Opção.
Who should I avoid in this part of town then? Any particularly evil figures?
Not really. Most men and women are just doing their best. And it's not my habit to speak ill of people I know, Doctor.
Tudo bem, cara. Calma, não precisa. Situação das docas, né?
What is the general situation in the East End docks?
The situation has always been tough, with a lot of tensions between the gangs and the Dockers Trade Union. The Wet Boot Boys are very nervous since they lost their leader.
Quem lidera a gangue agora?
Who leads the gang now?
Since Clay Cox went missing, it's his wife Edwina who runs the show, with the assistance of her minion, Booth Digby.
A gangue tem ameaçado você?
Has the gang been threatening you?
Ah, no. I've had this nickname for so long, you know, the sad saint of the East End. No one dares to bug a saint, not even criminals.
Tá. Perguntas pessoais. O que você faz da
What do
vida?
you do for a living, Mr. Hampton? I can't help but notice the cross around your neck.
I manage a night asylum for the poor and homeless of the docks, and I try to guide the lost and hesitant on the right path to our Lord.
Você é padre?
Are you a priest, Mr. Hampton? A deacon, maybe?
Not at all, Doctor. I'm just a man of faith willing to preach the good word.
Por que você não usa a cruz contra o William? Nos
Why
usa.
didn't you
Não
use
usa.
your cross against William
Nos
Bishop?
dois.
To repel him somehow?
That's a very strange question, Doctor. A cross is no magical token, if that's what you were trying to say. Not mine, anyway.
Tá. Fez amigos desde que chegou?
Have you made friends since you arrived?
Not really, but I recognize Miss Harriet Jones. I knew her when she lived by the docks. That poor woman had such a miserable life.
You never came to see her here at Pembroke? Receiving visits when sick can be an important part of the healing process, you know. We're not just bodies.
You're preaching to the converted now, Doctor. To be truly honest, I thought she was dead. She left the docks many months ago.
Como se sente?
How do you feel, Mr. Hampton? Medically speaking, I mean.
I feel exhausted. Beyond exhaustion, actually. William drank so much of my blood in his madness. I feel empty.
You're in good hands here. Dr. Swansea is well versed in blood transfusion, and I'm sure he'll take the best care of you.
Thank you, sir. I believe all I need is rest. And then I can go back to the people who need me.
Tá.
Goodbye, Mr. Hampton.
Ah, calma aí, deixa eu ver se eu consigo controlar ele, mas acho que eu não consegui não, né?
Hello again, Dr. Reid. I feel better already. Can I go soon?
Ah, não. Tá saudável, vou dizer
Goodbye,
adeus.
Mr. Hampton. We'll talk again later.
Pra me mexer sempre buga, né? Opa, dá pra falar com ela agora.
Good evening, sir. Can I help
É
you?
com
Unless
ele.
you're here to fix my face. No. I don't think you can help me.
I'm Dr. Reid. I've recently taken the position of head surgeon here. War injuries, am I right?
You guessed right, Doctor. German shell took my pretty little mug right off. But they still call me Thomas Elwood.
Tem um R aqui. Ah, eu posso enfeitar. Não. Enfeitei sem perguntar. Não, não quero fazer nada não. Só larga, só larga. Foi sem querer, pô. Foi mania do hábito. Deixa eu falar aqui.
Good evening, miss. I'm Dr.
Ah, eu
Reid,
queria conversar com
the
ele um
new surgeon.
pouco. Eu tenho que pegar informação pra ganhar mais XP.
And who are you?
Your name has no meaning to me, mortal. You're nothing but dust blown by the winds of eternity.
I beg your pardon.
What are you begging for, mortal? My clemency? Well, tonight maybe I'm inclined to mercy. You'll never forget the night you met Thelma Howcroft.
You keep calling me mortal. Why is that? And if I'm mortal, what are you?
Well, Dr. Reid, if you must know, I'm a vampire.
Sua vida pessoal. Você é uma
And why
vampira?
do you believe you're a vampire?
I don't need to believe anything. It is what I am. It is what I feel within this hollow shell of flesh.
Escreva como se sente.
Please, describe to me how you feel. What is it like to be a vampire?
I can hear my body crumble from the inside as my flesh cracks and fades. I sense the last pulse of postulant blood within my drying veins. I need new blood.
E eu vou falar da síndrome de Cotard.
I see. Have you ever heard of Cotard syndrome, Miss Howcroft?
Never.
It's a mental illness discovered by a French neurologist named Jules Cotard. The affected patients are delusional. They believe that they are putrefying, that they are dead, a ghost or a ghoul, or in your case, a vampire.
Delusional, you say? Oh, sad and petty mortal. You can't even begin to understand the concept of immortality. And you think it is I who am delusional.
Tá. Eu
Do you
consigo.
require my services, Miss Howcroft?
I have no need for your medicine, Dr. Reid. Blood is the only drug I need.
Eu queria apertar R ali. Ah. Saudável. Tá. Informações. Tem ela sofre de uma síndrome, né? Acredita ser uma vampira. Esse aqui ele não descobriu muita coisa não. Eu tenho que falar com ele, ó, pra ficar bonitinho aqui, calma aí. Sua vida em Londres, você... Não. Perguntas pessoais. Quem é você
Who
afinal?
are you really, Miss Howcroft? I mean, apart from being a vampire.
Is that not enough for you, puny mortal? What do you require? Hmm? Proof of my powers?
I'm curious to know who you were before becoming a vampire.
No, it was such a long time ago, I don't remember. Centuries of unholy life can have strange effects on one's minds, you see?
Tá, já tenho tudo que eu
I'll
quero
leave you,
contra ela.
Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal activities.
Damas das Trevas. Deixa eu falar com o cara aqui atrás. Ô tio, não conversei com você não. Queria te sugar seu sangue.
Dr. Reid.
Perguntas pessoais. Sobre a doença da senhorita
How
ali,
close
velho.
are you to Miss Hawcroft? Are you aware that she thinks she is a vampire?
To wait for her next nibble is the best reason to stay here. Every time she approaches my bed, she treats me like something tasty. A normal person.
Aren't you afraid? She may hurt you if the game goes too far.
She's quite harmless, I can assure you. Her head's broken inside is all. While I'm busted on the outside. But she's still beautiful. Living proof that there's hope for me.
Olha, consegui detalhes. Você permite que ela o mordesse, né?
So do you let her bite you? You know that's not sanitary.
And why not? She's only supping a few drops of my blood. And the pain, it's real for once.
She could decide to bite less willing patients.
Then it's another good reason for me to stay here, Doctor.
Ela tem problemas mentais?
You do realize she's mentally disturbed. It's called the Cotta syndrome. She truly believes she's a vampire.
In her madness, she never refers to my scars. And frankly, if I could, I'd join her world. It seems much more fun than the real one.
Deixa eu voltar aqui. Você serviu por muito
Where
tempo?
were you stationed, sir? Did you serve for long?
I really don't want to talk about all this shit.
No offense. I was pushing too much. I served in France myself. I just wanted to know what happened to you.
You were an officer, weren't you? Then I doubt we fought the same war, sir. No offense.
Ah. É só a vida em Londres, como está a estadia aqui, né?
How is your stay with us, Mr. Elwood?
Oh, it's bliss. I just escaped death in the trenches to be surrounded again by the moans of the dying.
Can I ask you precisely why you're a patient here?
It's the pain, sir. The drugs don't work. It just hurts under the scars, if you get my drift.
Existe algo que eu possa fazer?
Can I do anything for your pain?
Nurses gave me a bunch of pills. No effect. Told you. It's like the flames are under my skin, burning away.
Quem está tratando
Who is
você?
treating you? Is someone in particular looking after your case?
Nobody since the old and tired doctor spoke to me. Started to think I was forgotten about. Wouldn't blame you.
You don't seem worried by that.
My face hurts so much more when I smile or cry. I've learned it's easier not to speak. But be assured I'm smiling inside.
Eu posso possuir ele, será? Deixa eu ver aqui se eu consigo matar ele em algum lugar. Eu vou largar o senhor. Vou largar, porque aqui tô conversando, né? Ó a doutora aqui. É a mesma? Opa. Não, desconhecido. Deixa eu falar com essa aqui.
Good evening, Doctor. I don't think we've been introduced yet. My name is Pippa Hawkins.
And I'm Dr. Jonathan Reid. Dr. Swansea has recently offered me a position in this hospital.
Well, it's a euphemism that your help will be appreciated, Doctor.
Ó, vamos falar com todos, né? Pra ter. Ó, ela já não consigo, ela é nível 3. Não dá pra fazer perguntas pessoais. Como está a situação por aqui? Ela vai falar a mesma coisa, né?
It's serious. The flu is wreaking havoc amongst the staff and patients. We are running out of everything.
Não deixe se abater.
You must get a hold of yourself, nurse.
Sorry, I'm exhausted. No one has any idea when this epidemic will be over.
A gripe espanhola não durará para sempre.
Nurse Hawkins, the Spanish flu won't last forever. Even the Black Plague didn't kill everyone.
I wish I could believe you. But what if this epidemic was worse? What if in the end, nobody was spared?
Talvez. Há quanto tempo você é enfermeira?
How long have you been a nurse?
Well, long enough to see that the epidemic is winning. And no matter how qualified you are, don't tell me you'll change that.
Você ficaria surpresa.
You'd be surprised what dedication can achieve, Nurse Hawkins. In medicine, sometimes we're just a test result away from a miracle.
Sorry, Doctor. I don't want to sound bitter, but I'm just too tired to give a pep talk like Nurse Brannigan.
Como uma equipe de
How
funcionários.
is the Pembroke staff coping with the epidemic?
Well, not well. Milton, the ambulance driver, is even more grumpy than usual, especially concerning doctors.
Por que o Milton é tão mal educado, né?
Why is Milton grumpy on a daily basis? Is it just an act?
Milton's not the kind of man who's bothered about a bad reputation, whether he deserved it or not.
Olha, já descobri sobre o cara lá, hein? É porque, especialmente os médicos, né?
Why does Milton dislike doctors?
I don't know. Just ask him. But be warned. Milton is not the chatty type.
Tá, eu não vou poder te sugar agora mesmo.
Goodbye,
Adeus.
Miss Hawkins.
Adeus, enfermeira, adeus. Deixa eu passar aqui. Tem muita gente aqui, cara. Dois. Minha sala é lá em cima. Vou passar por um aqui, velho. Pô, é muito médico pra te dialogar, é muita gente. Não, eu vou no meu escritório, depois eu termino de conversar com esses caras. É muita gente, velho. Aqui sai. Você viu? Tinha uma coisa aqui brilhando. Peguei. Rapaz, acho que dá pra conversar com a galera aqui, hein? 4? Ou vou logo pro meu negócio lá? Pô, depois eu... vou conversar logo, tem que saber quem é todo mundo aqui.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reid. May I help you?
I don't know if a third opinion is needed. Your colleagues are already arguing about my condition.
I see. Would you mind telling me more about your situation?
I'm Harvey Fiddick. All I want is to get me bloody arm fixed properly.
Perguntas pessoais, não dá. Perguntas de Londres. Enquanto sobre você, sobre o seu hospital, os médicos estão discutindo seu caso.
The doctors who are arguing about your case.
Strickland and Aykroyd. They both want the best for me, but there's a lot of pride there. Doctors are no different from carpenters, it seems.
What do you mean?
I often had professional arguments with rivals on a building site. Difference is I disagreed about wooden nails, not flesh and bones.
Sobre este hospital.
With your treatment here?
Well, it's clear that I've chosen a bad time to be injured. Forgive my bluntness, but you seem overwhelmed by cases of the flu.
I won't lie to you about it. I'm afraid we are.
Are you sure you don't want to operate yourself, Dr. Reid? I have the feeling you're very capable. And your colleagues seem to think so too.
In other circumstances, you would be right. But for now, I don't think I can take on the responsibility. My apologies.
Conte-me
Tell
sobre
me about
você.
yourself, Mr. Fiddick.
I'm just a regular guy waiting to get his arm fixed, so I can return to work and to my family.
I was more curious about what you were doing before being hospitalized.
I'm a carpenter, and a good one too. But that means I need both arms to feed my family, Dr. Reid.
Tá, desculpa. Depois de descobrir mais coisa dele, eu tenho que...
Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick. I'll see you later.
You always knew the words to calm the children.
Ó, tem um doutor ali e tem enfermeira.
What a blundering idiot.
Ué, o personagem tá dando sozinho. Oxi. Deixa eu falar com o doutor aqui.
Good evening, Doctor. I believe we're going to be working together.
Dr. Reid. Dr. Swansea informed us of your arrival, but I could not dare to believe we'd have such good fortune. Such an honor, sir.
Thank you. And you are?
I am Thoreau Strickland, Dr. Thoreau Strickland. I'm a great admirer of your work, Dr. Reid.
Perguntas pessoais. Não dá pra fazer, tá bloqueado. Sua vida em Londres. Tô no hospital, né?
What can you tell me about the Pembroke?
Well, it has always been an honor to work with Dr. Swansea. But with your arrival, I can't think of a better opportunity to learn about blood transfusion.
Você parece bastante otimista.
You seem quite optimistic. It's a rare and precious attitude in these difficult times.
I'm convinced that this epidemic is a test of endurance and dedication for us men of science.
Questions remain about our capacity to resolve the situation.
True. Last summer, during the first wave of the epidemic, I used to joke with Milton about the extra work. We're not smiling now.
Precisa da minha
Do you
ajuda?
need help with anything in particular?
Well, yes, maybe. I'm waiting for a batch of products I ordered for my personal research, yet my supplier seems to have vanished.
Do you want me to play the errand boy for you?
Oh no, Dr. Reid. But if you went personally to his shop, What with your reputation and all, he wouldn't dare to refuse the products I need.
I see. Well, give me the address, for I may pass by if I have time.
Ó, mais uma missão aí, ó. Nova investigação. Me conte sobre
Please, could you
você.
tell me something about yourself?
I'm a great admirer of your work concerning blood transfusion, Dr. Reid. I run my own experiments. I'm convinced it's the future.
O que fez escolher essa carreira? Me conte sobre o seu experimento, não?
What made you choose to be a doctor?
I'm not ashamed to admit you and your work have inspired me. I am honored to have the opportunity to work by your side.
Será prazer
It's
ajudar.
always a pleasure to share scientific and medical knowledge with someone eager to learn. I'll be glad to help you if I can.
This epidemic may be the century's most terrible disaster, but I'm convinced that we, as doctors, are the only ones able to defeat it.
Conte-me sobre seu
I
experimento.
based my technique on my mentor's research. He helped me perfect my method. What is yours?
I'd rather not talk about it. For now, it's just theories and first approach. My process is purely experimental and unsuccessful.
As long as you're cautious and methodical, you may remain empty-handed, but you won't fail.
You're not the first one to warn me, but I am convinced knowledge is the main weapon against the ravages of this epidemic.
Ah, já descobri coisa, ó. A gente tá descobrindo coisa sobre a galera.
Goodbye,
Adeus.
Dr. Strickland.
A gente tá descobrindo coisa sobre... Cadê? Aqui, ó. O doutor saudável. Detalhes. A gente descobriu. Pistas desbloqueadas ainda não. Ó, 2.500 XP sobre ele, hein? Quem é esse cara aqui? Ah, a gente não descobriu coisa dele não. Acho que se eu falar com ele eu consigo, né? Ah, eu pulei coisa dele. Nossa, tudo bem. Esse aqui eu tenho coisa dele, ó. Desse cara aqui. Essa médica aqui falou dele, ó. Acho que se eu voltar e falar com esse cara aqui, eu
Good
tenho
evening,
coisa.
Mr. Fiddick. Good evening, Dr. Reid. Any news about my operation?
Perguntas pessoais. Sua vida em Londres. Não tenho nada
Bye
não.
for now, Mr. Fiddick. I'll see you later.
Deixa eu ver com quem eu posso falar aqui. Com a enfermeira. Essa aqui é a mesma? Ah, ela é a mesma. Adeus,
Thank you,
desculpa.
Nurse Crane.
É, ela, a enfermeira Crane, né? Deixa eu falar com esse doutor aqui.
Good evening, Dr. Strickland.
And good evening to you, Dr. Reid. Can I be of any help?
Ué, de novo ele? É o mesmo cara, não é?
Goodbye, Dr. Strickland.
Calma aí. Esse cara que tava ali já tá aqui, já é? Já, mas eu tenho alguma coisa ali,
Good
já você
evening,
viu?
Dr. Strickland.
And good evening to you, Dr. Reid. Can I be of any help?
Sua técnica de transfusão
Tell
de
me
sangue.
more about your willingness to experiment with new medical techniques.
Harvey Fiddick is a patient suffering from a severe injury that could cripple him if not treated correctly. I'm convinced your blood transfusion technique could help him.
What is it you really want? To save him? Or to prove your point?
Fair question. I want nothing but to save my patient, Dr. Reid. Especially since I know Mr. Fiddick's story.
Você precisa permanecer imparcial. Me conte a história do seu.
Tell me Mr. Fiddick's story.
Our first diagnosis was compromised because Mr. Fiddick lied to us about the real origin of his injury. He first claimed it was an accident.
But why would he hide such crucial information from us?
Because he is a proud father, ashamed of putting his children at risk because of his own negligence.
Olha, descobri coisa. Você
This
vem permanecer
personal
imparcial, né?
involvement could also appear to be a lack of impartiality. You must know that a good surgeon must remain neutral.
I agree. But that does not excuse Dr. Ackroyd's behavior, a man who did not even take time to converse with his patient.
Do you think keeping his distance was a mistake?
All I know is that I'm taking care of human beings with desires, hopes, and fears. Not some biological machine comprised of blood, bones, and flesh.
Obrigado, senhor.
Goodbye, Dr. Strickland.
Descobri coisa lá, mas não vou voltar nele agora não. Eu vou lá em cima lá do meu quarto. No meu escritório. Pô, tem um médico ali. Tem um médico aqui. Quem é o senhor? Quem é o senhor?
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reid. I believe we're going to be colleagues.
Porra.
Reid? Yes, I've been informed about your
Tem
arrival.
muita gente pra olhar,
I'm Waverly
cara.
Ackroyd. Welcome aboard, I suppose.
Does my arrival inconvenience you in some way, Dr. Ackroyd?
Let us just say that I don't particularly share Dr. Swansea's enthusiasm for hiring you. What we need here are reliable professionals, not overrated dabblers.
Calma aí, eu tô fazendo um negócio aqui. Perguntas pessoais. Já aprovei minha capacidade como médico, mais lembranças da sua carreira militar?
I don't know what you've heard about me, but I have already proved my value as a practitioner.
I don't question your skills, Dr. Reid, but your motive. Is it money, fame, or are you truly dedicated?
And what exactly is that supposed to mean?
I served in the war just like you. But unlike you, I did not use the wounded to play the modern sorcerer.
Be careful what you insinuate, Dr. Ackroyd.
I only want you to admit you used those men to improve your theories.
Salvei muitas vidas. O conhecimento é a nossa maior arma.
This is ridiculous. My blood transfusion technique saved many lives, and you know it.
You see? That is exactly what I hate about people like you. You avoid this kind of accusation instead of facing reality.
Mais lembranças da carreira
It
militar.
seems you have bad memories of your military service.
I refuse to see this industrial slaughter as scientific progress. War only reveals the worst in men.
We can at least agree on something, Dr. Ackroyd.
O que acha da pesquisa de Strickland, né?
Tell me, Waverly, what do you think of Dr. Strickland's enthusiasm for his experimental research?
Strickland is playing with his patients' lives for pride and glory. Now that, sir, is unethical.
Are you thinking about something in particular?
Harvey Fiddick needs delicate surgery. I believe we should stick to the usual procedure, but my young colleague obviously disagrees.
Você está cego com sua rivalidade? Por que você quer fazer essa cirurgia?
Why do you wish to lead this surgery?
I strongly believe that Mr. Fiddick should not be butchered to test an unproven procedure.
Você assumirá essa consequência?
If you are going to lead this surgery, I'm trusting you to assume the consequences of your actions, whatever the result.
I'm not the kind of man who runs away from his responsibilities, Dr. Reid. There is no need for you to be looking over my shoulder.
Você está cego por sua rivalidade?
And are you not afraid that your rivalry with Strickland may be blinding you?
Rivalry? I guess you could call it that. But I will never be childish enough to let my personal feelings affect my judgment.
Tá. Tem algo falando comigo sobre o hospital?
Since your tenure in this hospital is longer than mine, perhaps you can tell me more about this place.
Let's just say I'm tired of the carelessness around me. I have always respected the skills of Dr. Swansea, but over time his enthusiasm has become displaced.
Carelessness? Exactly what are you talking about?
We're here to save lives. The people who trust us are not volunteering for experimentation. They're here to be healed.
I don't intend to run any radical experiments, Doctor. Even if I, as any good practitioner should, express an interest in pushing the boundaries of medical research.
Modern medical methods were created through audacity and ego. But there are rules in our line of work, and they're here to protect our patients.
Pode descobrir coisa. Tem problema
If you have
comigo?
a problem with me, Dr. Ackroyd, please feel free to tell me.
Dr. Swansea has imposed your presence on this hospital without asking anyone's advice. The benefit of his position. But I don't agree with it.
I know we've never met before, but I believe this hospital...
Esse vai ser o primeiro que eu vou dar uma mordida, hein?
You will agree with that, I'm sure.
Oh, but I have heard about you, Dr. Reid. Of course, you can't say the same about me, since I have not wasted my time courting the press.
A inveja não lhe cai bem, não há motivo para hostilidade.
There is no need for such animosity between us. Don't you think the epidemic is already enough to deal with?
That is one point we could agree on. And that is precisely why I want to be sure that you will be of help to this hospital instead of a burden.
O cara mal educado ele, hein? Tchau,
Thank you for
guerreiro.
your time. We'll talk later.
Ah, pô, é muito diálogo. Pô, a gente se vê nos próximos. A gente vai subir lá em cima e ver nosso armário, né? Foi muito diálogo. Tem que saber a história de cada um, pô.